chords, and chord scales. In this lesson, we will learn how to build chords and how to apply them to songs that we'd like to play. You'll recall that in the last lesson, we learned the 8 notes that form the C scale. These 8 notes, selected from all the notes that we've learned in first position, start on the 5th or A string and follow a predetermined pattern. That pattern is 3, open, 2, 3, open, 2, open, 1. And from this scale, we can now form chords. And if we now pick out the 1st, 3rd, 5th, and 8th notes of the C scale, remember there are 8 notes to the scale and we are simply counting them in order. By doing this simple act, we get the C major chord. This is a simple formula for us to follow. There are in fact many ways to play the C chord, and we will explore these in order to use them in songs. And from this point we will learn not only how to play one variety of the C chord, but several ways. So let's start with the first chord that we've learned and go from there. Remember, this is the first of 8 chords. With our 4 fingers, we'll be selecting from among 8 notes. Don't get confused. Notice we have 3, 2, open, and 1. Notice our 3rd finger is playing the 1st note of the scale, our 2nd finger the 3rd note of the scale, the open string is the 5th note of the scale, and the 1st finger is playing the 8th note of the scale. Now this chord is our 2nd chord in our series of 8. Let's take a good look at it. Remember, these are 8 varieties of the C chord. The fingering for this is 2, 1, 4, 3. We call this a closed position chord because there are no open strings. Keep this in mind because the vast majority of chords we will learn will be closed position chords. This is our 3rd chord in our series of 8 chords. Notice that the 3rd and 4th fingers are on the same fret. 1, 3, 2, 4. And the 3rd and 4th fingers are both on the 5th fret. Remember to keep your fingers arched in order to produce a clean sound when playing these chords. Now this is our 4th chord in a series of 8. Notice that the only difference between this and the 3rd chord is the movement of the pinky finger. The pinky finger just moves up 1 fret. A very easy transition from one to the other. This is our 5th chord, and notice that the index finger does not move. The other fingers do change place, however. So we have 1, 3, 4, and 2. And notice that the 1st and 2nd finger are both on the 3rd fret. This is our 6th chord in the series. And notice that our index finger or 1st finger still does not move. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And notice that the 3rd and 4th fingers are both on the 5th fret. Now for our next chord, we're going to have a big change in position. This is our 7th chord in the series. Notice how the fingers line up in a row on different frets. We have 4, 3, 2, 1. And the 4th finger is all the way down on the 10th fret. This is the 8th and last chord in the series, and notice that we don't use the pinky finger on this chord. And the 1st finger covers 2 strings. We call this a bar chord. We will learn a lot more about bar chords in future lessons. But for now, you've just learned 8 varieties of the C chord. information on anything we just covered or for any of the other lessons, go to frankiethegenius.com, where you'll find lessons, books, films, CDs, and much more.